Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us again for our second committee meeting to discuss the Red Cup ordinance that we're discussing here in Columbus. We appreciate everybody that's able to attend. I think we mentioned at our last meeting, so everybody would know that we've got folks here that from the city, Ward 5, Councilman Stephen Jones, our city attorney, myself, our COO, Jamie Garrett, our police chief, Joseph Daltrey, and then members of the community who are either business owners or work in the nonprofit world, which would be close around the proposed district. We also had at our last meeting some owners of restaurants and bars outside of the district who wanted to come in and hear what we were planning and also give us their thoughts. So we've had a really good group of individuals that we've invited. Not everybody's been able to attend, but we've gotten feedback from most people that we've reached out to. And I have made a comment that we had members of the committee that not everybody agreed on everything, but we were not disagreeable, which is unusual for meetings. We even got a rose in the paper Sunday. I don't know if y'all saw it, but our committee got a rose. So
thank you, Brian.
I was looking for thorns.
So thank you for our rose. Well, also, since our last meeting, there was kind of a subcommittee meeting with Councilman Jones and two members of the committee to try to hash out some of the things we were discussing. We thought it would be good if a smaller group could meet to kind of go through some of the issues and then come back and present them to us today, because we are respectful of everybody's time and we want to try to be as efficient and effective as we can. So at this point, Councilman Jones, can I turn it over to you, or would you like for somebody else on your sub?
Doesn't matter. I don't really see the paper. Well, the reason that we met was, I actually went to Huntsville this past weekend, and they do it, and I asked a lot of questions over there, and they said they didn't have any problems with it, and I think we were just overthinking it, and
We tend to do that sometimes.
Yeah, making it, a simple process. I think we were worried about things that we probably didn't need to worry about. They said they started off with a time, and then now they have it, 7 days a week, and it hadn't been a problem. I think one thing that they do is, we were thinking about cups and making cups and all that stuff, and that's probably not necessary. They just have a purple cup over there, and each business put a sticker on it. With their logo or whatever they want, or if they want to make a special cup, they can, but it can't be over 16 ounces. They can't take it back in, even if they bought it there. They can't take it back in. They would still have to drink it before they go back in to sit down for dinner. They got to drink it and throw the cup away. If they come from another restaurant, they can't take it into another restaurant, so they just throw it away. As far as the trash, they have over there, they have containers on each corner, but they also have larger sidewalks than we do. So I don't know if it would be beneficial for us to have a trash dumpster on each, trash can on each corner, because we probably won't have the room like they have. But yeah, at least each business would probably have could have a trash can in front of their business. And they all need to be uniform, or approved by Main Street. They just have the regular, trash cans like we have at the Troller, but those trash cans are kind of expensive. But whichever way that lead is.
Got some on the Riverwalk that don't look as expensive, but they look durable.
Right. So, what else did we have? It doesn't cost them in most areas that we've checked with. They don't have a patrol, one person down at the, downtown patrolling the area. So it's not costing them any more money. The police department just patrols their regular patrol, just like they patrol anywhere else, and they haven't had any problem. But that would be something that the chief needs to, chime in on, or Jeff, because I don't think we have to have a specific person downtown, right?
You have to have whatever ordinance we draft according to the state law just has to address that it'll be covered by police protection,
Right.
and have a plan, and just saying that it's covered is a plan.
Right.
It
And
doesn't
treat-
have to be a 5 paragraph order, you know.
Right, you can, attest that you won't have to have extra men up there, that y'all normally patrol the area anyway, and it'll be the same thing,
My main concern would be if they have a major event, and a lot of people, I don't know, like say if it's Mississippi State game, and we got a bunch of people in town and they're walking around, then we would go ahead and increase down there, but other than that, it'd just be normal patrol.
And I think that, you do that in any other area, whether it be Juneteenth or whether it be
Oh, yeah.
any other area that's having a big event, then you step up patrol anyway, so.
Yes, that's why we get a lot of those listings. Ms. Garrett sends us stuff, what's going on in the city.
Right.
And then when people put in for permits and stuff, based on their number, as far as crowd-wise, we adapt to the population.
Right.
Tell us how it worked in Natchez while you were there. And how long do you remember?
I don't know how long it's been there, but Natchez, and then they used to have, I forgot what they call it, but it was where they had a downtown day, and people would go from place to place, like hopping, going different places and trying different eateries they would have. They would set up like little hors d'oeuvres and go different places, and they walk around with their cups. But we've never had, when I was there, we never had any issues as far as any violence or people getting out of hand. We didn't have anybody intoxicated, being hit by a vehicle or anything, because a lot of times people just walking from one restaurant to the other. And this is I think it's gonna be a little smaller area than it is in Natchez.
And as far as the area and outlining the area, they had their curves painted. I think they had green. We could probably do purple or something like that, since Columbus colors are purple, Columbus High School, whatever, is mainly purple. So you can probably paint like each curve, just the corner of the curve, not the whole curve, just the corner of the curve to let people know that you are in this area.
Did they have signage as well, or was that the only thing that they
Yeah,
had?
that was the only thing that they had. I mean, each business, if you're participating, or not even participating, but like the restaurants, they can have something in there, saying that this is part of that district also. But mainly they just had the curves, painted.
We saw an example last week that Ryan brought, some signage they have in Tuscaloosa that explains, which I think is nice.
Right.
I think it'd be good to have something like
The
that.
only thing with the signs, if you have, unless you're putting up some permanent signs, that would be, you might do a few permanent signs or something like that somewhere in the district. But if you put up little signs like election signs, they're gonna eventually disappear.
Oh, no, we don't want those, I don't think.
Now, we had metal signs on the poles letting you know that you were entering the
Right.
Cup District, and if you left, you were not allowed to bring anything outside of this area.
Okay, yeah.
And then the ones that we showed last week gave instructions, didn't they, Ryan?
Yeah, they kind of gave just the real simple rules of not entering other restaurants, or disposing of your cup. Just gave the layout, which I think would be good too if we put a little QR code on the restaurants. If we have like a window clean for restaurants to have a QR code, and you can go to some kind of digital thing that shows the whole ordinance so folks can reference it.
And all those will be
I'm glad you're back up,
expensive.
George. I thought they'd made you pass out. I couldn't see you all of a sudden, but you were just looking closely at them.
Staring at the map.
Okay. Well, of this that you've heard so far, what do you think, George? Because you were the one that had the most concerns, I think.
This is now what's being proposed, the part that's in yellow,
Yes.
as distinct from the broader
Yes.
from last week.
Instead of doing a whole new map until we made
Yeah,
a definite
okay.
decision, we just scratched out what would be
Okay.
not included.
And I
So you
think
can
it's,
see it's quite a bit smaller.
well, I think it's important for other people to know also that downtown was the one who presented this to us. So it's not that we're leaving any other areas out. If those areas want to present something, then, we'll look at those areas as well. But right now, we're just doing this area and, because they presented it.
Mayor, you asked me.
Yeah, George, I know that you had mentioned some concerns that you had last week, and part of it was police presence. and-
Yes.
Yeah.
I would, looking at what Mr. Jones has here, section 5, I can't remember what we said the start date was, the start time was last time, but I didn't think it was that early in the day. Well,
Oh, 10A,
it would be adding substantial time, which I would not be in favor of at this point. I do like the smaller district. If Mr. Turnage could answer one thing from last week. Where in the ordinance does the ordinance prevent a person from buying at place A and trying to enter at establishment B?
In the draft ordinance I drew up, it's not in there, but it's in other ordinances and that's been discussed. So I drafted this up, the draft ordinance without any input from anybody. I
Yeah.
just went to Starkville's and found theirs and basically did a word replace to make it applicable here, but I think it's a good rule though.
I think we talked about having it where you could not buy at A and enter B.
We did.
Yes.
We definitely did.
Because we certainly don't want the front counter people at B trying to police that.
Well, that they wouldn't even be able to take it back into the same place that they buy it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to take it into
Yeah,
any place,
right.
Once they
We
buy
need to be
it.
explicit
Right.
that you can't buy it at A and go back in A or go back in B.
Right.
Try to
That-
enter
yeah, that
any
would be
other
part of it.
establishment. And then, again, I would want to hear from the chief if we have 55 budgeted and we have 42 to 43 officers. It seems to me, on the face of it, unwise to then be having let's not say depleted, but short man at the police department
Very bottom.
trying to monitor
Okay.
this.
Sure did.
Can we tailor the size of the district to the size of the department? With perhaps the idea the mayor presented last time, expanding it at some point if it goes well, and if we can sufficiently police it.
Well, we're gonna sufficiently police it, just like when we had Market Street, we had thousands of people here, and we were able to still answer calls for service and secure the area down here, just like we did with the fireworks display. We had over 11,000 people show up for theirs.
Right.
And we were able to not only handle the crowd there, but also handle the exit and also handle Townsend when they had their blues festival. So it's not a question of if we can. I mean, we're short, but we're not the only department or only entity around here that's short. But we're gonna make do with what we have and do the best that we can. Like I said, if we have a major event, we can pull people and put down there. But right now, I don't see us having that much of a foot traffic initially, unless we have a major event down here.
Well, for example, if you go to, say, a routine weekend, September the 12th, under this ordinance, would you assign officers to be within the district every day, visible?
I'm not gonna say every day, because we have what we call the downtown, we have an officer that patrols Central Beat. This is what you consider Central Beat. They patrol down here, so they're already riding through the neighborhood. But what would happen, like I said, if we have a huge event,
Right.
then we'll bring extra officers in. We have our sedways that we use for Market Street. We could put them down here. I don't see an issue at all. And as far as the manpower issue, like I said, we're gonna adapt and overcome like we always have done. We are short, but we've been short for a long time, but we're a lot better now. And we're also in the process of hiring even more officers. So we're steadily hiring officers, which is a good thing. And when the mayor and council approve this big old raise for us, we're gonna be able to hire a whole bunch of people.
Hey, Brian, you have,
Have you already been into the cup?
Huh?
he said you've already been in the cup. Brian, you have, your family owns businesses that are already in districts like this in other towns, in Starkville and Tupelo, correct?
That's right.
How, can you shed any light on it?
I kind of, before I came, I kind of circled up with our partners and discussed this, and yeah, we have 2 restaurants in Starkville that are in their Red Cup district, kind of on the outskirts of the district, and most of that activity is concentrated kind of in the middle. you know, and so we don't see a lot of folks participating in taking drinks out of our restaurants.
Which
But-
y'all are prepared to take.
Sure, yeah. And same in Tupelo. We have one in Fair Park that, you know, seems to be going just fine. I think just our perspective is we obviously, well, I have a question I want to ask after I get done saying what I'm about to say, but generally we want, you know, downtown to thrive and do well, and we, you know, are thrilled with the way things are going and everything. You know, the concern for us, and it's not necessarily something that we would oppose this going through, but it's just a concern of ours is the opportunity it gives a guest to walk out with a drink, get in their car, and drive, and the potential, you know, danger that could impose on themselves and others, you know, and we do our best to not overserve. That's kind of an art form, you know. I mean, that's a hard thing to do at times to determine if someone's had too much to drink, but that is a concern of ours. You know, just the opportunity to give someone to get in their car and drive. So,
One of the
but-
ways to avoid that would be the state to change the law, where you can't drink and drive, I mean, you can't drive in an open container.
Right.
We could set that ordinance just over this district, so no one can drink and
You
drive.
could apply it in the district that you can't
It says-
drive with.
in this
It says
area.
it in there?
It says,
Yeah.
it says it in
Yeah.
the.
So the ordinance would say basically, in the set designated area, you cannot drive in an open container.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
But now, as you well know, that everybody
But we
that's
don't know what they
yeah,
do
everybody
once they leave our
that participates in this
buildings
may not have read the ordinance.
That's right.
I mean, that's the,
Well,
one of the
that-
reasons for the signs, to
Yeah.
remind people, but again, in the state of Mississippi, you can drive with an open container,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and for us, it just becomes, if someone were to leave and have an accident,
Mhm.
we could potentially be held liable for that. You know, if they had been overserved and in their car they have a cup with a Harvey sticker on it, you know, we're getting a phone call, you know, and so that is a concern for us.
But even if we do have this though, y'all don't have to participate, right?
That's true.
So
Sure.
you don't, you know, your restaurant can say, you know, we choose not to do it, you know,
Right.
or, you know, any restaurant can say, you know, we
Right.
choose not to.
You
do
can
it.
opt out.
And that's always, I mean, that's a fear as a restaurant owner anyway. We have a curfew at 10 p.m., which helps limit how late, those late night folks who are trying to really tie one on. We want this to be more where they can enjoy our city and have a cocktail or a
Sure.
drink while they do it. The 10 a.m., the idea behind that was the same, where you have events that happen around 10:30. Lunch starts around 10:30. Sounds of, used to have a couple of music programs that happen during around lunchtime, so folks might want to have a drink or a mimosa or something while they're shopping in our downtown area. It's to promote events and make events better that are happening downtown already. It's not to promote the nightlife and bring the nightlife out into the streets. It's not the objective.
Mayor?
Yes.
Ryan, do Starkville and Tupelo have written ordinances?
I don't know. I would think so, but I don't.
Starkville does.
Yeah.
We know, because we've looked at Starkville,
Starkville
and
does,
I would
Meridian
think
does.
they
I'm pretty sure all of them do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
My only other question was, I can't tell if Harvey's is in this zone.
Should
If number 8 is, or I'm sorry, if number 7 is the Tennessee Williams House, right across the street is the JBHM office, which we share with them, and then right below that would be Harvey's. I just wasn't quite
Yeah,
sure.
we might wanna
Now,
include
this
that.
goes to
You're-
second, that number 8, the Riverwalk,
Okay.
that is second, and you're on second.
Right, okay.
And Main, so it does take.
So that's, we're right on,
We
right on.
specifically
Yeah.
did that, yeah.
Okay.
So to include,
Brian?
include Harvey's, this
Yes,
would need to
should be
be.
included.
Well, she's
Orange.
saying,
On that
she's
corner.
saying that
Tennessee
right there.
Williams, the
She's
block,
saying
and
this
you-
right here is Second Street. So
Okay.
that's us kind of right there.
It'd be right on
Right.
that corner where there's a little,
To the
That-
left
right,
of the
right
A.
at that little
Arrow
V.
almost.
No, she's saying we're right there at that V. We're right here.
Right at the number 8, right?
This is Second Street.
Yes.
That's right.
right above
First
the
Street
street.
is not shown.
Or if you're a restaurant, you may only choose to participate when they have an event downtown. You know?
Right.
Mhm.
This is just the, you know, our perspectives.
How many,
Yeah, we appreciate it,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
you might not know, but do you have any idea what the average probably to go a month that you're even doing at this time? Cup?
Say that again?
With your restaurants, do you have any idea what the average is per month?
In the other cities?
To go
drinks?
drinks?
I don't know, but I think it's minuscule.
Yeah, and
It's
that's,
minuscule, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what,
I think in Starkville, it's not necessarily people taking their drink to go, but it's, you walk up to a bar that's kind of an open air type place. You get something to drink and you go down to the sidewalk and hang out with your friends, and you go back inside or another one.
right.
You know, and then you might walk across the street to another place and do the same thing, you know, so. But for us, you know, we don't see that really.
Because you're where you are.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
location.
if you're real busy though, they can, you know, while they're waiting outside, because that would be the only way that they can take something outside, right? If they came in and say, okay, I want to order something at the bar, and then I'm gonna wait outside with, you know, while I'm waiting for a table.
Yeah, they can wait outside, yeah, I think so.
I'm saying that would be the only way that they could take, like, they can't order a drink now and then go outside and wait and
That's
drink it
right.
with a glass, right?
That's
So
right.
they would be able to do that.
And here in Columbus,
Right,
that's right, yeah, you can't take a drink outside.
right. So now they would be able to,
They would.
but it would have to be in that to-go cup.
It would have to be in a to-go cup, and then you'd have to say, you can't bring it back inside.
Right.
Which is
Right.
kind of
That's
weird.
Exactly. They
You
want
know?
you to bring it back
If
inside.
you're dining with us and you want to drink,
Right.
You gotta
and you
chug.
can't bring it back out, yeah, you have to chug it.
Yeah,
Or
now,
throw
so,
it.
but y'all don't, do you see that happening in Starkville?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
People can wait, they can wait a half hour, so they don't have to charge.
Generally, people wait inside with us, you know.
He said that's just kind of weird. I thought it was funny.
He just said generally they get a drink inside with them.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you could sit and wait inside.
Because I know I've been to some restaurants where, you know, the wait is 30 minutes and then I, you know, go to the bar and get a drink and then I got to wait in the inside
Yes.
with, you know, all these people when you can be standing outside, especially if it's a nice night or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But Doug at Zachary's has a very limited wait space, so everybody's waiting outside.
In my parking lot.
In your parking lot.
Sidebar.
Yeah,
I think though, you know, just to round up what my thoughts, I mean, we would want to participate.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're a part of downtown, and I think that in the end, we would want to participate, you know, so, I think we see the potential value in it as well, so.
Yeah. And we appreciate your comments too, those are all good
Yes,
things.
thank you.
That's some things we hadn't talked about before.
And Mr. Hazard, I stand corrected. We do have it in my draft ordinance, they can't bring it back inside.
Okay,
Yeah, it's on, what page is that?
page 2.
The bottom.
Page
It
2,
says
near the bottom.
a person may not enter a licensed premises with an alcoholic beverage, whether acquired at that licensed premises or elsewhere.
okay, so that's in the
It
ordinance.
is,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, I would ask the chief on a Saturday night now, how many officers do we have in just this geographical district routinely now who are physically present in that orange space, would you say?
Are you talking about Central Beat? It'd be one.
One officer assigned here,
Yes, sir.
and he's got radio contact and
Right,
everything.
absolutely.
But physically, one policeman.
But if needed, you also have other officers that are going from one beat to the other that drive through.
Yeah.
You have a supervisor that's free, and we also have, we also have, a supervisor and our violent crime task force is rolling around as well.
You want to tell them about your new DUI officer too?
Yeah, we do have a officer who is a DUI officer, and he works nights as well. And see, I heard the concern about as far as people getting in a car driving. Well, unfortunately, in the society that we live in, people stop at the corner store and buy beer, pop it open, and they drive with it. So, I mean, when we catch them, we deal with it. But that's something that we're just not going to prevent them from getting it. I mean, it's really no different than somebody going to a club and drinking and then when they get finished, they leave and get in the car and drive. It's the same thing. I want to put you, sir.
No, I was gonna say, and it's just like if you go to somebody's home for a party,
Yeah.
people leave those.
But as far as the patrol division, like I said, I don't want you to, I think Councilman used a good word, overthink or stress, because we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here, and if we have an additional event where we know we have a large crowd, we don't have a problem with calling people out or having extra foot patrol downtown.
I don't think it would be overthinking to start such a district with additional manpower explicitly in this zone in addition to one on foot, kind of for the reasons I said last week. It seems to me they will have to be checking compliance with the district and
Excuse me, what checking on what, sir?
checking compliance with staying in the district, not leaving the district with the drink, and not trying to get into another place.
Well, now I'm gonna tell you, that's gonna be the business's responsibility to make sure people don't come in and do that. That's not gonna be the police responsibility.
It will become your responsibility if there is a tiff at the door.
Then they will call us.
Yeah. And-
But as far as, we're not gonna be going building to building, checking to see,
Yeah,
you know.
you do not have to be people to do that, certainly.
And no other city I know does that. New Orleans doesn't do it, Memphis doesn't do it,
Even if
Natchez
they had the
didn't
people,
do
they
it.
wouldn't be doing it.
Sir?
I said, even if you had enough people to do that, you wouldn't be doing it, most likely.
Well, Mayor, you brought up the idea last week of a kind of a base or substation. Does that have any value? I guess not if we're just having the one officer routinely. I found that comforting that you knew at certain place X, there are two men in the car or the Segway, rather than one in the whole thing. But maybe we don't have the manpower to have a substation. I don't think it's overthinking to have officers here explicitly as often as we can on a trial basis, 6 months or so, and then meet again and see what's happening, because I'd certainly rather err on this side of that.
Caution. Yeah, I don't remember saying substation per se. You know, substations don't always work very well. I mean, places have substations and we've had them here before and we didn't keep them.
A lot of substations people use for officers when they go do reports.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. You know, they could pull in there and do a report. Or if they had a complainant down here and they wanted to talk and they didn't want to talk to them outside. But a lot of substations, I mean, really, manning it and the cost of everything that we would need for it, you know, internet, phone, lighting and stuff. I mean, the cost will by far.
Was there not talk about having a parking attendant to start marking tires and stuff downtown? Would you put an extra officer?
I think you did mention that, didn't you?
Yes.
To
Yeah.
bring an extra officer downtown to kind of keep eyes on things?
Yeah. Now that's something we've talked about. I don't know that we've,
And usually they're not certified officers.
Sir?
the ones that are marking tires, are they certified?
Parking
No,
attendants.
they wasn't certified officers.
Again.
They did have, just a ticket.
I was told that they did that before, but I don't know what happened to it. But basically what would
Oh,
happen.
yeah, they used to do it.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
still
got-
a position, I think, that you have that.
When I was at the
just
dispatch,
haven't
I
been
had to
anybody
move my
hired
car a
for.
lot.
Okay. And the way it works is that person will be on a routine patrol. They would chalk a tire and pretty much the tire's here, you mark a line to the ground. And then they mark it on the time on their sheet or whatever, they come back around. If that chalk line and that tire is the same spot, that means that they hadn't moved. And that's how they would issue their citation.
Oh, that's better than what we did.
That's the same
When we
thing.
had
No, that's the
them
same
mark
thing.
the tires, all you had to do was move your car and the chalk would come off. You could repark it. So it really did pretty good.
So stick your foot up there.
Yours is different. You have to do a lot of that, wouldn't you? What?
So looking at this district, I don't know if y'all touch bases on it, though, is how spaced out it is. I mean, what seems to be the major problem that you see? Because you look like, if you have someone leaving out of quote unquote the Princess Theater, I mean, there's only so many more places within this district that they can go. I mean, if you're drinking, you're not gonna walk from the Princess all the way down, you know, erratically to the Riverwalk. So what would be the what would be the pushback? Like the reason, like it's a bigger. It's like it's next door, next door, next door, next door. So what would be the major issue with not doing it or with doing it in this district that has been set aside?
Well, because you might want to walk from J. Broussard's to Huck's, or from the Princess to J. Broussard's, or from Huck's to Harvey's, or from Harvey's to Munson Brothers, or from Munson Brothers to Zachary's,
Or
from Zachary's to the Golden Tie, or whatever that Thai restaurant is. And so, even though I might not want to walk from one end to the other, I might want to go across the street.
Well, or from the Princess, you may want to go across the street to those new clothing stores that have opened and shop in there. And you can take your drink in there while you look at clothes and stuff.
Right.
So,
Well, I guess that would be-
you can't go in another bar or restaurant with the cup, but you can go in the stores to shop.
I guess that would be up to the stores though.
That's
If they
right.
allow you to bring.
Sure.
Yeah, I think y'all been asking them and they were for that, right?
Yeah, Stone's Throw, they were very excited about the idea. And most of I haven't yet to find a business that's not okay with it, or very.
Because that's kind of the idea, is for people to take your wine or whatever and shop casually in the stores and, yeah. So you're not just going from restaurant, bar, you can go places in between. And with having the Rosenswag here there's a lot of times there's events going on there with the arts that people could stroll in. I think they could take them in there, wouldn't they? Or maybe not, because they sometimes have drinks in there. How would that go? Could you take your drink in from, say, Harvey's and go into and look around and the Arts Council?
I don't think you'd want to take that beverage in there. The Arts Council usually provides some kind of cocktails for donations and
I
things.
think just so there's no confusion, you just make it, you don't bring it in.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't mean that there's exceptions, you have, well, can I go in here and can I go in here? It seems
Yeah,
like
but
to
you
me
can
that
go
might-
in other stores though.
Absolutely.
And some people would look at going into the Arts Council like going into a store, because you can shop in there and stuff like that. And every time that I know they have drinks and stuff in there sometimes, but do they have it every time?
No.
I mean, like on a
Just on
Saturday
their
after-
event. Most
Yeah.
likely they wouldn't mind, but I guess that would be on their discretion. I can't imagine them minding.
Sometimes have drinks on the opening and reception.
Right.
Right.
And then that's.
Or if they've
go
got a
back to
band or.
regular.
A band, but if you're walking around on a Saturday afternoon and these hours are going and you just want to go in there and look at the exhibit and maybe shop in their store, they would probably allow you to bring it in.
Just fine.
I didn't want to.
Barbara, say it, I couldn't hear what Barbara last.
I'm sorry.
What was your last one you made, I could not hear? You remember?
Was it about the Arts Council?
Couldn't hear you. Perhaps it wasn't.
Was it about the Arts Council, and you said just like they walk in any store to shop?
Yeah, I think that
And I
was-
said, yeah, well, they have retail in the Arts Council, that whole section of
Yeah,
retail.
that.
So it's the same thing, really. That, I don't know if
I
that's
thought
what
it was,
you're
I thought part of this idea was to help people go in there, you
I
know?
mean, that's the
It
idea,
is,
is to promote
to
shopping.
encourage, that's right.
The only thing else I'd bring up, and we can stick with the Red Cup, but I kind of can't stand the Red Cup district. The name is bland, and I really love what Meridian has with the 3-foot district. I love what Cotton District in Starkville, Fondren District in Jackson, and so it'd be awesome if, and I have not thought of one, if we had a good name
The
that we
Possum
could
District.
use for the district that we.
What is it in Jackson?
Fondren,
Fondren,
Is that a street name?
that's the name of the area.
subdivision area.
And so if we had, we talked about like it's a Bluff City, or, we wrote down just a few, but they're all very generic. And kind of thought of a name for it that I could see, t-shirts and stickers, it become a trendy area.
Possum District.
The Possum District.
No.
No, no.
We don't want to name it the Friend Zone either.
The
Nobody-
We just said no.
We already have.
Trot with the
We
possum.
already have this.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to, I don't want to steal from Bird's Bottom because that is a specific area. I don't want to steal from Cabbage
Don't-
Alley. There's already so much history there.
Smacking on possum, that's not a bad idea.
I like possum districts better than I like red cup, so.
Well, call it squirrel
I will say
district.
that.
You got a squirrel
Because at least it brings it in.
College squirrel.
Raccoon district.
Oh, neutral, we have plenty of that.
Right.
We have a representative of the media here. Do you have any questions for us while we're, as a group, or?
What are the new confines of the district? Y'all said you shrunk them down, but I wasn't here.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I thought you had one. Here you go.
They were.
They artfully scribbled out, the dark part is scribbled out, and that's not included.
So this was the old
So
entertainment
just the
district.
little
Yellow.
district.
Hey, you know what? To make it fun, and just a suggestion, if this is passed, if we want to come up with a name for it, look at the businesses down here and have like a contest.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then let them solicit names for it, and
That's a good idea.
then we can pick it from there.
Yeah. I just like it to be something, so we can promote it in a more fun way rather than just the arts and leisure district,
The drinking district.
Stumbling.
My brother said the hive
No,
and
no,
everybody's
no.
buzzing.
Right.
I've just gotten used to the red cup.
Do we have any questions, Joe? Did you say anything? All right, so let's double back to, the idea of coming back with these points was to try to come away from this meeting with a more solid plan to take before the council. How do we want to do that? Do y'all want to, tell us which of these that are on the suggestion list that you would like to add into the, document that, Jeff has written for us?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
In the ordinance, I remember reading through it, but I can't remember this part. So if someone is walking through this area and they have a cup without the sticker, is there a fine for it? Do we have a fine listed?
Was there a fine in there for if they didn't have the
No.
district cup with their hands? If they're caught with one that's not in, do we need to add a fine?
Yeah, let's see.
I don't believe that there is.
And I propose with a sticker or a logo, I believe, so
Yeah, I'd like to see something on the cups.
something that identified the restaurant.
I think that's a good point. Every bag has its own sticker that's known to the officers.
Yeah, that's
And we need to
nice.
have
Gives a little
that, why you
information
have,
too.
you can't.
Are we doing a citywide sticker?
Yeah, yes, please.
Like
No,
if-
each restaurant would have their own.
Each restaurant would have their own.
Okay,
But a citywide cup.
okay,
Well, no, it'd just be
No,
a
just
regular,
a
well, regular
sticker
one,
that
yeah, a 16-ounce cup. Like, there's nothing special, but it just can't.
Oh, I thought it would be a cup that looked the same that everybody
A
had.
purple,
but you
yeah,
had
that's,
a
it
unique
could be a
sticker
purple
on it.
cup. You can say a specific color,
I
but,
think the cups need to be the same color.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With a
There's a
different
specific
sticker.
color with it, and they can add their sticker on it.
all right, and if not, if that changes, then at least can we, I know they want to have their own logo, but if we can have something bright on the sticker, it could be so that everybody colors the same, so that we can spot it from,
Let me ask you, would you rather have a certain color cup or a sticker? Because a sticker can hide in your hand.
True.
Well, I was,
I mean,
yeah, it
that
would be
from your aspect, what would be the best?
it would be
way?
a certain color cup,
Yeah.
and they just
Certain
put a
color
sticker
cup.
on it, because the cup is gonna stand out on its own.
Right.
And if you get close, if you're an officer, you see it, then you can see that it's, wherever it came from, on that. Or if they get stopped, then it'll have that sticker on it,
Councilman, can I see your bottle right here? Like, and this is what you're talking about. So if I held this in my hand, you wouldn't be able to see
Couldn't see it.
Right,
what brand it is.
Right.
But you know by the color.
by the color of the cup. yeah.
Right.
And then if if you happen to, wanna see it, if an officer wants to see it, then they can look at it and they'll have that sticker on it, yeah.
Right.
Too many things. We're talking possums, so.
So we need to,
Yeah, let's say, so we want to try to incorporate what's on this list into the ordinance, correct?
Right.
yes.
So is there anything on this list that anybody has a major objection to before we ask Jeff to move it into our ordinance for the council's consideration, mayor and council, in case it's a tie?
What color cup? I think we need to
If
have
we're
that
gonna do
in.
purple paint on the sidewalks or on the curbs, then it probably should be the same color as the cup. We just
Yeah.
stick with the
Do we want
cups and
purple?
all
Yeah,
Or we want purple?
Yeah, purple,
Yeah, stand out.
yeah.
Purple?
Yeah. They're talking
We
about
have
receptacles, Columbus
We
High
have a
Club.
littering ordinance.
Let's just,
Yeah,
can we
we got
just,
a
Paint the
receptacle
street
provision in.
corners
Mayor, can we
that
just take
within the
these one
district,
by one and
just
go
the
through them
curb.
and
So you
make
know
sure
if you
we
go
all?
past this curb.
Yes.
Got
out
it.
of the
You
area.
mind doing
No,
that?
don't mind a bit.
That's
All right, we're gonna go through one by one and see if anybody has any major issues. The first one is, Barbara, why don't you take us through them?
Oh, sorry. Permittee located in the district shall allow alcoholic beverages to be removed from the licensed premises only in a purple plastic cup, correct?
Yes.
Not larger than 16 ounces, with a sticker displaying the name or logo of the permittee that shall be approved by the city and that shall be provided by the licensed premises at the sole expense of the licensed premises.
So like if it's wine.
Everybody okay with that one?
At some point, did we talk about a covered cup, or is that a factor?
No.
You can do that now.
Well, they can,
Don't-
but I'm just saying.
Don't have a cup, covered or not covered.
Sure,
Yes.
yes.
You can sell a beverage now with a cover on it, and they can take it outside. So that's already legal. I mean, that's fine. That's what Zachary does with his Zachary Daiquiri. Is it's a covered cup, and they sell it out the window.
In
So
other words, that's already.
that's already happening. That
You can
would
already
be-
do that,
Yeah, that
okay.
would do, okay.
All right, so everybody okay with that one?
Cool. Next, no permittee shall allow a patron, guest, or member to exit its licensed premises with more than one open container of an alcoholic beverage, and it should be unlawful for any person to exit such licensed premises with more than one such open container.
That was
Is
being
there,
removed.
did you want to have discussion on that? We're good with that?
No, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't go in there and have two. You got a wife outside and you're getting a drink for her, so, I mean, I would just
Yeah,
take
that's
that
what I
part
was
out
thinking,
altogether.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Want to remove that completely from the
Yes.
ordinance?
yes.
Yes.
Here it says open, you
What do
have to say
y'all-
open in that part, the word open is there.
Or one open and the rest closed.
Yeah, section number 3 doesn't mention whether the cup is open or not, but in 4, it talks about open. For consistency, we ought to include the same language in each section.
That's closing. Over.
I mean, I don't see why it matters, because if they go outside and drink one, then they gotta come back in and get another one, or if they got a wife with them and they picking up one for them, or
It's just
a
going to create
spouse,
more
or
waste to put the lid
husband, or
on.
whoever, yeah, I mean, it's pointless.
So what do the other ordinances have in other cities that they allow?
I don't think most of them had what you can do.
A lot of them don't address it. Some say you can do one per person. Like we were saying, if your wife's at the Arts Council looking at something and you run and go get a couple of drinks, you'd have to then just get one and then give it to him and go back, and then you get the other one and come back, and that seems kind of to defeat the purpose.
Yeah, I don't have a strong feeling either way.
And then Mr. Attorney's
Or take it out
point
completely?
4
Yeah,
there,
take it out.
Take it out completely?
The meridians, they do have it, they restrict it to one open container.
So we'll
Next.
remove that number 4.
And
Jeff,
then the
that
next one
good?
is trash
I'm
cans.
against that move.
Okay, the next number 6.
Okay, thanks, George.
And it's 4, if you just restate somewhere else in the language, it speaks to leaving A and not coming back into B.
It's already in, it's already in our draft,
It's in there.
Okay.
It's already, yeah.
bottom of page 2.
Well, not just coming into B, they can't come back even in the same one, so.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
And just to reiterate on 4, that's not going to stop me from selling 2 drinks to somebody. It's just now I'm going to put a lid on one of those cups.
No, we removed it altogether.
Okay, just saying, well, he had a vote against removing it.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
just saying that if it stays in there, all the restaurants will continue to sell beverages to the person. It's just one's now gonna have a lid on it and the other one will be open container. Because selling it with the lid on it's illegal. So it wouldn't, it does, you're just creating the waste with the lid. There's more waste out there is how I see it, but anyways.
All right, number 6.
Okay, trash cans will be uniform in appearance and size, approved by Main Street Columbus, and placed within 15 feet of the exit door of the premises. And I had offered that when my grant writer comes back, we will research and see if we can get uniform trash cans to put throughout that will help you know, with the cost of that with the restaurants.
Ms.
You might
Bigelow.
check with, Keep Columbus Beautiful, keep, Mississippi Beautiful, they might have a grant also.
Correct.
And-
Correct, so we'll check on that.
And also, at MML, I picked up a brochure from Mississippi Prison Industry where they make trash receptacles that are uniform, that looks really nice, and cities are putting in downtown area. I'll get that to you so you can look at it.
I've got it.
Oh, you got it?
To get the ones that are downtown.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Would
Thank
we
you.
not want that
Thank
near
you.
the entrance, rather than, I mean, I don't know, the entrance is the exit for most places, but if you're walking up to a restaurant, you want to dispose of your cups in front of it.
If you already have a trash can, do you have to get another trash can?
No.
Like this specific trash can?
No,
No.
Be more convenient to
Well, they
have
said within
specific
15
trash
feet, so
can
it could be
when a person is approaching
15
yours
feet from
and
the
yours
entrance,
has done it.
exit, it
It
doesn't.
said just from the exit, and I just didn't know, if, like,
Just
you're at the
say
Princeton
within
Theater,
15
you just
feet
push
of
it
the-
back by the exit, and says I
I
did it.
guess we need to say 15 feet of the
Entrance.
of the
Main
building.
entry point.
Yeah, the main entry.
You're talking about
Yeah,
trash
that's all I'm
cans?
saying.
What do we-
It's the entry.
So what's the final on the
Just
trash
to
can?
change it from, instead of the exit, 15 feet of the exit, we say the entry, because of the building.
The entry instead of the exit.
Entry,
Yeah.
okay.
And then the trash can just needs Main Street approval, so they don't have to necessarily get specific trash can that you say, as long as you can approve the one they already have. So for example, if Harvey's has a trash can already in place, you can say that looks great.
Okay.
Number 7?
So curbs designating the district, whatever we end up naming it, will be painted purple, not red, by the City of Columbus Public Works. We were gonna check into that, Stephen, and see if that would be possible for
Right, we have
them
to check with
paint
Casey.
that. What do y'all think?
That could-
Public Works,
Yeah, okay.
to highlight the boundaries, that's what we were talking about, that Stephen had seen this weekend, and where the boundaries end, there would be a painting along the curbs, and there would be a sign saying, you know, this is that boundary. But do we think that Casey's group could handle that? I think was
Yes.
where we stopped.
Don't you think so, Jane? Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Designating the boundaries. And what I've done, if you'll look, right now it says, at this time, they shall post all points of egress from the licenses. I took the, you know, the draft that Jeff had prepared, and this just goes into that, adds to that. That makes sense?
And we may
Okay.
possibly also do signs.
Right, and this talks about signs of the
Right.
district, okay? Hours, it currently says Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's the current draft. It was discussed changing that 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day. That's 7 days a week. So, is that agreeable?
I would prefer the draft hours.
The hours on the
I
draft?
mean, that's fine with me, it doesn't matter to me either way.
Can go later.
But 1 hour is not gonna hurt.
You want later?
Yeah. Why
Here
you can't
thinks it
go
should go later.
I'm just saying that people at the Princess Theater and they won't walk outside.
Well, the object is you are downtown and, you know, you do want to start tapering things off when people start going to bed. You know, everybody don't stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of law departments.
Yeah, we have 205, I think it is, downtown.
Because
apartments,
of all the
several
residential
district.
downtown, you know.
So
We're
what
trying
about
to
the
stay in line
Princess
with the
already
residential
though?
ordinance.
I'm just looking at them that's already open.
Well, I mean, they still got to start tapering off. If they want to go drink, they just have to do it in the inside after 10 o'clock, you know, and not be outside.
Since you got all those apartment dwellers, it's gonna,
District though.
I know a lot of people that rent those apartments, they do get
Right,
aggravated by the noise outside.
right. So you don't want them to be outside after 10 o'clock.
So what's the noise ordinance, what, 11?
It's 10.
I don't know, 18-wheelers come through at 2 a.m.,
Exactly.
so.
Right,
Yeah, but it's gonna be hard to
right.
catch somebody on a noise ordinance for talking and yelling, you know, as soon as the
Right.
police are within 2 blocks, they're gonna stop yelling.
Is 10 o'clock what most places have that we've looked at?
I believe 10 p.m. is the neighborhood noise ordinance. And
I mean, but in others, we've looked at other districts, so
Starkville was on up to maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
they're,
That was a lot of college students. though.
yeah, that's
We
college.
got College City too.
That's a
They
lot
don't
of college
have- they
students
don't
that
have-
in
they
that
don't
area,
have-
that live in that area too.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
you don't
don't
have a lot of
have-
college students that live in downtown in the area where you're putting this.
Correct.
You know, if it was more in college town, I mean, college area, then you might have it extended, you know, but it's not.
And you want to make it very clear that this is a district and not a club or more.
Right. I ain't trying to have an outside club.
I mean, I didn't even look at this. The demographics won't even fit for an outside club, but.
Barbara, what about hours you have? What's the start time that you?
10
10
a.m.,
a.m.
10 p.m.
And just having a set time every day of the week keeps it in people's minds so they don't have to struggle on what day is it today? Can we be
I just think it
outside
should be
today?
later.
And then we have to communicate that to our restaurants and figure out what day it is.
I'm gonna say that's helpful to the police department too, so they don't have to
10
look
o'clock
it
to
up.
here.
It's pretty easy to remember if it's the same every day.
It's just 10
You
to
don't
10,
want
and
one.
everybody knows that's when it's, that's when it is.
Getting drunk later.
Right.
No,
You supposed to.
Chief, what'd you say?
no.
He said he want him getting drunk later.
No,
so
Councilman,
stretch it out.
no, Councilman Beard said, asked about being later. I said, the later it is, the more intoxicated, so we'll be dealing with them after 1 o'clock. Yeah, so,
All right, so everybody's pretty much set on the 10 to 10.
10 to 10.
We can put these in the draft, and then, of course, that'll have to go before the council, and there can still be more discussion, but we're trying to get something that we can add into the ordinance. And when would y'all
Then we need to approve the map.
improve the map?
Talk
Yeah,
about
we
the map, the new boundaries of the map. George, what'd you think of that?
That much
You
better.
indicated you wanted it much
Much
smaller,
better. I
yeah.
think you can
Okay.
condense it more than that.
We just need, to figure out a way to make it prettier.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything that we're gonna put in place for, the business that doesn't confine to the ordinance? And what I mean by that is, if you have a particular business that is, I don't know, let's use St. Patty's Day weekend. Say you got a business down here and they're doing green beer and they run out of their cups, and they want to go ahead and they just keep selling them because they're, you know, trying to make the money instead of following the ordinance. Is there anything that we're going to do? Is there anything in the ordinance that's going to hold the business? Because we're holding the people that are walking accountable. Is there anything to hold the business owners, the business accountable?
Yeah, I think it should be.
Well, this says it has to be in a purple cup to leave your restaurant.
It doesn't say anywhere about the punishments though, and we do need to say violation of the ordinance either by the customer or the proprietor is a misdemeanor. Punishable by up to the maximum municipal fine, which I think is $1,000.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. That do it?
I think that does it.
Keep a whole lot of purple cups in stock.
Huh?
Keep a whole lot of purple cups in stock.
That's right.
And then we had looked at number 7,
Don't let people
George, which was the public safety measures. Read it and kind of felt that to leave it like it is was appropriate. Want me to read that to you?
Please.
Sure. The city of Columbus, by and through its police and fire departments, shall provide for adequate law enforcement and other public safety measures and services within the district as required by state law. In addition, the police and fire departments shall provide public safety services within the district in the same manner it provides those services in the remainder of the city. Nothing in this ordinance shall amend or change any other ordinance pertaining to amplified music, noise, litter, and loitering.
That's good.
Is that okay? Chief, that sound okay to you?
Sound good to me.
So that's still good.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yes, sir.
I wonder if it would be appropriate to call this a trial period, that where we could reconvene in some months, end of the calendar year, to assess and see if we want to. I certainly wouldn't want to now expand it or do away with it based on the conduct of our citizens in the district, but let it be known that it is not permanent. It's subject to review by a council at a certain time.
Doesn't this say the council can repeal this at any point?
Well, they can, whether it says it or not.
That's right.
I mean, I think it says it. All,
One way to do that, George, would be, instead of having any specific wording like that, is that, you know, if there seem to be problems, citizens can get on the agenda
and bring it before the council at a meeting. But or are you saying you'd prefer this group to come back and look at it?
I'd like the citizens to know that it is a trial, not a permanent arrangement.
I think we could say that without putting it in the ordinance.
Can I read this? This is
can.
that draft ordinance.
Yeah, that doesn't really address what he's talking about.
It doesn't, reserves the right to modify.
This is a committee, and maybe this committee can meet quarterly. And so therefore, if there is, something of grave concerns, we can address it right there. At that meeting, or if we need to convene, on board, emergency purpose, we can do that.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, Barbara found it in there. And I'm gonna do this, guys. I have a 3 o'clock that I need to step downstairs for, so I'm gonna let y'all finish this out and determine if you wanna meet again, or if we're gonna work and have this at the next council meeting. I thank, again, everybody that's been participating in this. This has been going extremely well. Appreciate it. And I hate to step out, but I have an obligation.
So I think Mr. Jeff was saying that he can put that, he can address that without actually, stating it, within,
Yeah, I mean, I just am afraid we're gonna put it in there, something about 6 months from now, we're gonna do something, and then 6 months from now, we forget to do it, and it's in the ordinance, and then there's a question whether it's enforceable or not. If it's creating a problem, it's gonna be brought back up to the city, and then they'll deal with it.
And to put your mind at ease dealing with that, we have weekly meetings, and we also turn in monthly crime stat reports. So if something starts, if we start having an increase in something, it would definitely be brought to the COO's attention and brought before the mayor and council. So that's something that we can watch as far as we can look for certain things, certain criterias.
Well, if the ordinance passes and is announced at a city council meeting, is that what the process will be? Then I think that announcement ought to include that compliance with the ordinance will be continually monitored by city officials, including the police department.
And I think that we also have to advertise it.
That's
And
right.
it can also be, citizens can object to it, or they can get a petition.
Yeah.
If they like. So it can still change, like we can still approve it and then they still get enough signatures and then, it still cannot be approved.
We do advertise, but I don't know of a petition process to stop the ordinance, other than political pressure,
This draft, though, does say that the city reserves the right to modify or repeal this ordinance and any district designation created here at any time, with or without notice.
Okay.
So that pretty well.
Yeah, that's in the ordinance, and that needs to be explained to the citizens when the ordinance passes.
We'll make sure we do that.
Jeff, does the state have to approve it? That question was said.
No,
You know, it's a city order.
the state passed a statute allowing us to do it.
Is there anything else that anybody sees?
We float River Bluff District as a possible name.
The Main Street District could be pretty simple. I'd said the South Side District, but Mr. Jordan pointed out that it's mainly on the north side.
Yeah.
Well,
I love
that
all
sounds-
this.
I said Ryan, I love that one historic.
you said bluff.
We thought River Bluff District.
I like River Bluff, but somebody said, Tom Bigby, where we're at is a waterway and not a river. Again, I don't know. if that's-
Tom Bigby's too long.
And,
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Councilman Beard,
y'all
what
don't
was
have
that
anything
you
else for
said?
me? I got another meeting at 3 after, about 6 minutes
Thank you,
away.
Chief.
All right.
Councilman Beard,
Yes, sir.
did you say haphazardly meander? What was it? When you left the Princess, you would have, what was it? Dagger?
Staggered district.
Haphazardly stagger district.
Okay, so.
I like Chief's idea of maybe seeing if the restaurants wouldn't want to hold a competition.
Yeah,
and see if people would name them.
The .08 district.
All right,
Anything over there.
Wednesday at 2 again,